In some of your speeches, you have actually talked about the art of doing an intervention is actually more difficult than hostage negotiation situations you've been a part of. Tell a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Interventions are not an entry-level position. It's part of what scares me when I hear about people out doing interventions that don't have a lot of training. We're there in a room with a family. We're responsible for every person in that room. And it's also life and death. And it can be more difficult than a hostage situation in that it's more complex. There's more denial. With an intervention, we're dealing with impaired brain chemistry, complex family dynamics, and it's often very difficult to maneuver things in a way where you're still able to be respectful and not come in and shame somebody or threaten somebody. I know I have colleagues that go in and they threaten, or we're going to take this away from you, and people will go get help that way. But that's not the way you should start your healing journey. In fact, that's the way people get into treatment and then are mad about how awful the intervention was, or they feel so disrespected, or re-traumatized.
Right.
1 in 5 Americans has experienced sexual abuse. So we know that the population that we work with is high risk, and the statistics are probably much higher. So I look at it as every individual that I work with is also a trauma survivor, and I want to do everything I can in the intervention process to not re-traumatize them or their family members. At the least, we know that people get traumatized because they do things when they're drunk or high that they wouldn't normally do when they're sober, and that's traumatic. If I'm 19 years old and I'm addicted to heroin and I don't have any money and my drug dealer's gross, nasty, and I need to get high, and I know if I have sex with him, I'll get my drugs. Have I been raped? No. Is it traumatic? Absolutely. And we see that all day long, and that's trauma, I think, from our own addiction. So we've got to come in and be respectful and not traumatize people on the beginning part of this very important, life-changing journey. When I gave that talk in March, I went through and I gave a lot of different statistics talking about how our nation had been held hostage. And one of the statistics that I gave was that 91 people a day die from an overdose from opiates. Today, only 6 months later, it's now 105 people die a day from opiate overdose. So we are at a crisis. And that's just when we talk about opiates. I mean, there's some things about our country. We've got 22.5 million Americans that are in active addiction or alcoholism, and only 11% of them will get help. We now have, in 17 states, more people dying from overdoses than from car accidents. We have more people dying of overdoses than we do from gunshot wounds. So we are at a critical mass. It is absolutely tragic, the amount of people that we're losing, and we're looking at potentially losing an entire generation. And it's not just our young adults. We have baby boomers that are addicted to prescription pills that are also overdosing and dying. Baby boomers that are also addicted to heroin because they're not able to get the prescription pills that they were on. One of the statistics that I found the most disturbing was the fact that on any given day, 2,500 teenagers a day try a prescription pill for the first time to get high. 1 in 7 of those have done it in the last year, and 60% of them are 15 or younger. To me, that is a crisis. Our kids are more likely to die from addiction and overdose than they are from Ebola, a fire, a terrorist attack. They're more likely to die from addiction than any of the other things we prepare them for in school. Why aren't we teaching our families and our children about this? Because it's killing our kids every day.
Wow.
Wow.